Thank you for joining us for the DAMES webinar series today. At DAMES, Differently Abled Mothers Empowerment Society, we strive to empower parents with educational webinars like this one. Enjoy!
Hello, Dames members. Welcome to the Dames webinar series. Today, we are so thrilled to have Brittany Miller here with us. She is a family support specialist at Raising Special Kids. Brittany and I actually met at a Partners in Leadership program that teaches parents of children with disabilities how to advocate for their child. And upon meeting her, I got to learn so much more about raising special kids because even though I have two children with autism, I actually never reached out to raising special kids in those early years. And she just really blew my mind with all of the different aspects of raising special kids, what they do for our community. So now I'm like a parent volunteer for raising special kids, and I get linked up with families, and it's such a wonderful organization. But when I asked to do this webinar, I realized that I don't even know all of the different facets of raising special kids, and I really want to know. So I figured, so do you. So Brittany is amazing. She agreed to come on and to do this webinar for us to tell us all about the different parts of raising special kids. So Brittany, I really want to thank you for coming on today.
You're so welcome, and thank you, Michelle, for the kind introduction. I was very excited to present to Dames today, and I cherish you as a friend, and I support your organization. And I know Raising Special Kids, we're super excited to tell the Dames community of all how we can support our Arizona families. So thank you. With that, should I go ahead and get started?
Yeah, it's all yours.
Okay. So thank you. Today we are going to do an overview about raising special kids. Before I get started, I always like to introduce myself a little bit. Again, my name is Brittany Miller. I'm an Arizona native, and I'm a family support specialist at Raising Special Kids. I'm also on the communications team. And I'm also a parent of a child with a disability. My husband and I have three daughters. Our youngest is medically fragile and has global developmental delays, some serious medical diagnoses. So I do understand what it's like to be a mother trying to find support in those early years when your diagnosis seems overwhelming and you don't know where to turn. I too reached out to this organization as a new mom 11 years ago. And my journey, of course, led to me working here, but it's a very supportive place. I will say too that all of us that work at Raising Special Kids are raising children with disabilities. So we do understand what it's like. We're in the trenches with all of you. So, hi, Monica. I saw that you jumped on. Thank you. We're just getting started. So, what is Raising Special Kids? So, this is our mission. So, it's strengthening families and systems of care to improve outcomes for children with disabilities and special health care needs. And I would like to say, too, we always emphasize that last line, special healthcare needs, because we help really any family. There are families that call us daily with, of course, questions about cerebral palsy and autism and ADHD. But we also get calls sometimes about children who have maybe diabetes or asthma, and they need questions about their 504 plans. We've even had parents, that have a 30-year-old with Down syndrome and they need support. So my point is we don't ever turn anyone away. We're just here to help our Arizona parents because we know that this journey can be hard and we want to be here to support you. So this is a brief, overview of our services. I would like to mention as well that we are statewide. So right now, because of the pandemic, we're all, of course, telecommuting, but I have colleagues all around the state. We have staff in, Phoenix area, Maricopa County. We have staff in Tucson, Sierra Vista, Yuma, Northern Arizona, like the Kingman area. We also have a staff member on the Navajo Nation, and I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but our team is all over Arizona, and we help families from all different backgrounds, cultures, neighborhoods, you name it. One of the hallmarks of our organization is our parent mentor program. And I know Michelle mentioned that she is one of our parent volunteers, our parent leaders. And actually, Raising Special Kids, the concept behind it started around 40 years ago. A couple parents were sitting around their kitchen table. They were raising kids with disabilities. And as you can imagine, the world was very different then. We didn't have social media, we didn't have access to each other, and the support groups were minimal. And it was just a different way of life. And honestly, our disability community, how society viewed our kids was quite different as well. And these parents realized we need to come together and support each other. And from that blossomed an idea that led to, of course, today, our organization. But how this program works is if you call into Raising Special Kids and you work with one of us on this family support team, we'll talk to you about your individual needs. We'll help you with whatever questions you have. And if we feel like maybe you need someone to talk to, or maybe you express, I feel so alone. My child was just diagnosed with this condition and I don't know what to do. If you need that emotional support, we can connect you with one of our parent leaders. And the parent leader program is wonderful. We have hundreds of volunteers. And these parents mostly are parents, we've helped over the years that want to give back. And they're really just there to emotionally support you. I know when my daughter was younger, I connected with a parent leader who had a child with severe epilepsy like her. And it's just, there's nothing like talking to a friend that gets your life. I'm sure you guys understand that. And so many of our families love the parent leader program. Friendships blossom, opportunities happen, and it's wonderful. So that's kind of the hallmark of our organization. We also pride ourselves on giving accurate, authoritative information on your child's diagnosis or disability. So, we draw from reputable sources. We want to get you the most current and accurate information. We do special education consultations and training. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it, but we are our state's, it's PTI, our Parent Training and Information Center. So the Federal Special Education Law, IDEA or IDEA, they task states to have a parent information center in every state. And so we're Arizona. So a huge part of our job is working with parents to coach them on being an advocate for their child in school. So we teach them, all about the IEP process, what the terminology means, what your rights are, and honestly help you problem solve. So if you're having struggles with the school, you may call us. We'll go over some suggestions and maybe you're empowered and you go on your way. Sometimes it ends up being where we do an IEP review and we look over your child's IEP and give some suggestions. And then our highest level of support after we've worked with a family for a while is sometimes we go as an IEP partner. We're not necessarily an advocate. We're there to support you in the IEP process and coach you and kind of help you communicate with the school team and bridge that barrier. And it often is very effective, and many families are able to resolve issues with the school. So that is a huge part of our workday at Raising Special Kids. It's not on here, but I'm going to add it. We also help families navigate our state healthcare systems. So many of you are probably familiar with the Department of Developmental Disabilities or Arizona Long-Term Care or early intervention, the behavioral health system. It can be super overwhelming, and we can tell families, what the services are, how to apply, talk to them about the process, and help them connect with the staff at these organizations if they need assistance. And we also help parents who have children with behaviors related to their disability. We have a positive behavior class training. We have staff that are specifically trained as behavioral health technicians that truly understand what it's like raising a child with, behavioral struggles and can help support you as a parent. So this is a wide array of services. Often it can vary because of the pandemic. We've also helped families with basic needs resources. We all know that it's affected everybody differently. We can connect you to a support group. So really anything disability related, we can help with. So I did mention that we are Arizona's Training and Information Center, PTI. We also are Parent to Parent USA, part of that organization, and Family Voices. A lot of states will have separate organizations that fulfill the roles on these lists, but Raising Special Kids, we are the affiliate for all of these in Arizona. And really, Family Voices, it actually was started by, if you've heard of the Katie Beckett waiver, it was started by her mom. And basically, it was the parent-to-parent concept, connecting parents to each other so they can talk and support each other through this special needs parenting journey. So that is a, kind of a broad overview of the organizations we're tied to. So what can you expect from us? So when you call Raising Special Kids or you fill out an online referral form, you can expect many things, but definitely confidentiality. We take our connections very seriously, and we show respect to our families, and all of your information is private. We will connect you to community resources. We have tons. Luckily, we live in a state where there is so much out there, and I feel like a lot of families just don't know. And so calling us, whatever your need is, usually we can find a resource for you or some assistance. And I feel like we're very fortunate to live here because there's a lot out there. We offer trainings monthly, and we'll talk about those options later, but they're free to families. We even have professionals take them. Right now, they're all virtual. Um, I'll go over the topics, but really they're to support you in your parenting journey, and we offer them monthly in English and Spanish. We also have bilingual staff. So if you have a child and you speak Spanish, we have several staff members that can help you with your needs. If there is a family who speaks another language, we have access to interpretation services, and so with a little assistance, we can set that up for families, and we do it often. So just know that we can support anyone, and we will make an effort to find someone from this service that can speak their language, so we can offer that needed support. We work hard to make sure all of our services are available free of charge for families. So you will never have to pay anything when you call us and you need help. Um, and we're happy to help and support you. And then, of course, connection to other parents who are informed, experienced, and ready to help. All of us that work here are raising children with disabilities. We walk in your shoes too. And so when you call, you're getting someone on the other side of the phone that understands what you're going through. So what does it look like? So if you were to call today, these are some of the things you might experience. When a parent calls us with an issue or concern or puts in an online referral, we will listen with empathy and compassion, of course. We will assist with prioritizing your concerns. So often parents will call us with an array of issues, and we'll kind of help you problem solve and break it down and figure out, okay, what is important to tackle first. Often we may give you some tasks to do, reach out to your support coordinator, write an email to your school team, will help you draft it. So whatever the issue is, we'll help you prioritize. We may recommend some training. We often encourage parents to take our IEP class if they have a special education concern, because you're going to be a better advocate for your child if you're empowered and you know how the system works and all the terminology and everything. Of course, like I said, we'll connect you to whatever resources you need in the community. In some cases, we may offer a one-on-one consultation. When it's not the pandemic, we would have parents come to our office, and we'll do an IEP review or go over your child's, IFSP if they're in early intervention, what have you. Right now, we can do those over a platform like this, and that's an option for families. And usually, that's after we've, helped them a little bit and then figured out what their needs are. Like I said, we can review documentation. We assist with next steps. So a lot of you call us because you need help. And so we will figure out what your needs are, coach you on some advocacy skills, figure out what to do and point you in that direction, and be there along the way to support you. We have an approach where we always encourage collaboration. Usually, honestly, parents call us if there's a problem or they have a question, or if they have a child with a new diagnosis. Those are, some of the pretty common reasons why we get called. I know when I talk to parents, especially in the special education, arena, when you're maybe upset with the school team or they're not doing what you think they should do, we always encourage collaboration. You can build more bridges if you're kind, firm, and collaborative. Of course, it's an emotional time. We understand, before I worked here, I cried at a few of my daughter's IEP meetings as well, so I know what that's like. But we really encourage parents to work together. It only benefits our kids, and that's definitely our style at Raising Special Kids. And then we can assist with dispute resolution. So if a parent is in a situation where they need to contact the Department of Education and file for, mediation, due process, some of those more serious situations, we can help you. We can give you, legal resources, explain the process. And, some of those situations are tough, but sometimes they happen, and we're here to help. So we do all kinds of workshops and consultations. You're going to hear me say it a lot, but we talk a lot about special education eligibility. If a parent has questions about all that, how does my child qualify for an IEP? What are the disability categories? How does that work? Maybe they didn't qualify, and so parents, I don't agree with this. What should I do? A lot of our work is around special education coaching. In IEPs, we do help families with children on 504 plans and help with that process. We have tons of resources with hundreds of accommodation ideas to help parents when they're coming to the school team to talk about things that might help their child who has a 504 and just needs some extra assistance to be able to learn at school. We also help families with that transition process. So, as you know, as our children grow and go through different phases, they have different experiences. So, if your child is diagnosed young or found to have a developmental delay when they're little, they may have participated in our Arizona Early Intervention, or AZIP, as we like to call it. We can, as a child turns 3 and then they kind of shift over to the school district and go into developmental preschool, we can coach families and help them navigate that process. And then we also can help families when they go from preschool to kindergarten, junior high to high school, and then high school and beyond. We understand there's so many different phases. And as a parent, I think you kind of grow with your child. And so as it's fun and heartwarming to see when you've helped a parent when their child's little, and then you see the advocate they become for them and how much stronger and more assertive they are. I know I went through that experience as well, being a mom, a special needs mom as well. And often our parents, it's just not one and done. They call us for help, but we help them many times throughout the years. It's just not, one consultation. Again, we help with dispute resolution. If even in our state system, so if a parent's child was denied maybe DDD or long-term care, we can explain the appeal process and point them in the right direction on what to do. We help with positive behavior support. Admittedly, that has definitely increased as part of our work in the pandemic. As you all know, virtual learning is really tough, and a lot of our children struggle. And it seems that some of our children who have disabilities and that behaviors are a part of it, they have struggled, and we've had a lot of phone calls supporting families with this. We also can help families if they have a child that's turning 18, and you're in that process of, okay, should I file for guardianship? Should I get a power of attorney? What's supported decision making, which is a concept that many parents consider, and it can be intimidating. We have a class that we offer monthly on that, and if you call us, we'll walk you through the process, where to find the forms on the Superior Court website. We have legal resources if you want to use a paralegal or an attorney. We'll explain what that process looks like and break it down so it seems less intimidating. We have tons of resources, and honestly, we get a ton of calls on that topic because adulthood is kind of scary as you're transitioning with your little one to when they're an adult. And then, of course, 504 plans. And there's more, but this is, some of our most popular areas of support that we help families with. So we also help parents find resources in the community. I mentioned that in Arizona, we have a lot. There's so many nonprofits. There's many support groups. I feel like the online trainings and free classes have escalated in the pandemic. So there's so many resources that you can connect with, empower yourself. We're constantly sharing those with families. I would be remiss if I didn't say, follow our social media pages. I actually manage our social media, but we really try to, bring important topics out. And I would say 99.9% of what we share is free to the community because we want all of our parents or families, whatever circumstance they're in, to be able to access those resources. We also help navigate those state systems, like I mentioned. So healthcare, disability services, SSI, special education, all of those big agencies, even Voc Rehab, vocational rehab when you have a child that's an adult. We can help you, walk you through it. So definitely call us. We also can teach you how to advocate. We have a lot of parents that call us and say, I need an advocate, and this is what's going on with my school. And like I said, our style is definitely collaboration. And so we will coach parents on how to be an advocate and teach them advocacy skills and problem solve. We are not attorneys. So definitely if there's situations where we are not equipped enough to help, we will connect parents with, education attorneys and legal resources that can better assist them. So these are an overview of the trainings we currently offer. So one of my personal favorites is we talk about early childhood education. So really we talk about birth to kindergarten and the systems your child might use along the way and what it all means. So, early intervention to developmental preschool to kindergarten and what developmental preschool special education looks like. And then when you go to kindergarten, how your child's disability classification will change because it's different in K through 12 through preschool, and some of the expectations and questions to ask your healthcare teams or school teams we go over in this class. It's awesome. I always recommend it for families that have little ones who are newly diagnosed. Of course, I can't say it enough. We have a great IEP training. We have a systems administrator at Raising Special Kids. She has extensive experience, master's degree, used to work for the Department of Ed, and she guides all of us at Raising Special Kids on how to best help our families. Often Kathy teaches this class, so it's invaluable if you have the opportunity to sign up. Positive behavior support, again, we offer it monthly. The IEP training, positive behavior support, legal options, and talking to your child about sexuality are offered in English and Spanish. We also have a training on high school transition. So, the process from junior high can be hard for kids going into high school. Your IEP will now include goals for, after high school, some of those transitional periods. We have a whole training that goes over it. It's super helpful. Again, the turning 18 legal options, talking about supported decision making to power of attorney to guardianship. We talk about special needs trusts and ABLE accounts. SSI, really just kind of helping parents know what the options are when their child is an adult, so that way they can consider what is best. We have a training on bullying prevention. I often teach this class, and sadly, this is a reality for our kids in school. And we talk about strategies to help our children empower themselves, target working with the school team to interrupt bullying, even working with your child's IEP team. You can have IEP goals that help with this, and also what options you have with the school district, what your rights are if your child is being bullied, and then some national resources that are really wonderful. And we also talk about cyberbullying, which I think is super important right now with all of our kids having access to smartphones, if that's where they're at in life, teenagers. So it's a really good class. And then this new one we added within the last year, talking to your child about sexuality. This is kind of sometimes a taboo topic for parents, but we do have a training that covers this. The staff that teach this class have special training to be sensitive and accurate and aware of the issues and needs that come along with this topic, but teaching parents how to communicate with their kids, regardless if they have a disability or not, about sexuality as they get older. So definitely some great classes. It's not on here, but we often do a journey to adulthood class that talks about vocational rehab, how to talk about employment, things like that. So as you can see, we have a lot of trainings. If you go to raisingspecialkids.org, under our events calendar, you can sign up. Right now, they're all virtual and they're always at no cost to families. Someday, whenever life gets back to normal, I know myself and my team is excited when we can do some of these trainings in person again, because we love meeting the parents that we connect with in our community. I've said this before, but we do parent-to-parent mentoring, and it really is the hallmark of what we do at Raising Special Kids. When you call us, we understand, we can at least empathize with what you're going to, because we're raising children with disabilities ourselves. Our parent leader program, this is kind of an overview of what it looks like. So if a family, agrees to a parent-to-parent match, a few of my colleagues, their job is to facilitate the match and set that up. It's over the phone. And so it's individual mentoring, and it usually lasts for about 8 weeks. I will say, before I was an employee here, I was a parent mentor for 5 years, I think. And some of those relationships I made with those parents, I still have to this day. It's just connecting with people who understand. It's wonderful. But we train our parent leaders, and they know that, it's confidential. It's open eligibility. So if you need help, we will try to find someone with your child's diagnosis or life situation. Some of those rare diseases, I know my daughter has a rare disease. If we don't have a family trained on our staff for that, we even have connections with other parent-to-parent organizations all over the country. So, I helped a parent once who has this rare form of epilepsy, like my daughter, and she was in Tennessee. So we try really hard to find that connection for families because they need it and want it. It's at no charge. We also have Spanish parent leaders if the individual speaks Spanish. And at 2, 4, and 8 weeks, we check in. Often parents, like I said, it does end at 8 weeks, but that's not the end. Sometimes relationships are built. It's not an obligation, obviously, for our parent leaders, but it usually ends up being a really fulfilling experience. I'm sure Michelle might agree, all around. I found when, my child has some tough diagnoses, which I'm sure many of yours do as well, and helping other people kind of helps you channel that grief and helps you cope with your own situation with your own child. So I would say it's probably just as rewarding and fulfilling for the parent leader, the volunteer, as it is for the parent seeking support. And 98% of parents have reported that the parent-to-parent match has been helpful and worthwhile. So how do you refer a family to Raising Special Kids? So families can always call us directly, and our phone numbers are listed. 602-242-4366 is our main number. You can also email us at info@raisingspecialkids.org. And we do have an online referral form. We do have families that do that. Sometimes late at night, 11 o'clock is when moms have time. So they'll go to our website and there's a section for families, start here, and they'll go and fill that out. We do have professionals refer families all the time, and usually they do so online. And we pride ourselves in trying 99% of the time doing a 24-hour turnaround. So if you call us, unless it's a weekend or a holiday weekend, we really, our superiors make sure that our family support team, we're getting a hold of families within 24 hours, and you will be contacted. So don't worry about that. And that is at the end of our presentation. So thank you so much, Michelle, for letting me tell you about Raising Special Kids and how we support our community.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brittany. Just the breadth and depth of what Raising Special Kids does just continues to amaze me. They have been around for a very long time and have this wonderful reputation because of the different trainings and support that they offer to the community. So to hear it all laid out in one presentation was absolutely amazing. And I really loved all of the different classes that you have available, and specifically the bully prevention and also the talking to your child about sexuality. I know that that's a really important subject that's come up recently because very often we don't use proper names or proper language sometimes when we talk to our special needs kids about, sexual parts and sexual relations. And then if something happens, they can't use the right words to tell us what happened because they don't know them and they don't have them. And so I think there's been a lot of increased attention put on this. And so that's really cool that you guys have a program that actually delves into that. How has that program been received?
Very well. Sometimes this topic, even raising typical kids, I have teenage daughters, so it's not super fun to have the talk. But, you know, regardless of our children, and I'm not one of the trainers for this class, but I've heard it many times, regardless if you're a child has a disability or not, they're still a human being and have those experiences and feelings and all of that. And it's important that parents address it because, like you said, our kids can be vulnerable. And also, it's just kind of a natural part of the human experience. And I know a lot of parents are intimidated by it. I know I am. So
Yeah.
it's just as a really good, frank, matter of fact class. And it leaves an open door for families. If they have those questions, maybe they're kind of nervous to ask. The class provides a setting where you could be comfortable to ask those. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really great because I heard one person talk about this topic and they were like, "Well, just because your child might have a disability doesn't mean they don't have hormones
Very
and that
true.
those things are coming." So
Yeah. Yes.
it's really great to make sure that they're prepared for that.
Mhm.
And one other thing I don't know if we touched on it a lot, but Raising Special Kids is also kind of the go-to for Arizona's early intervention program, correct? Like, so parents
Yes.
go to Raising Special Kids, and Raising Special Kids helps them apply for the early intervention process.
Yeah, so the way it
Am I
works
getting that
is
right?
yes. So
Okay.
Arizona Early Intervention has given Raising Special Kids the contract, and we process the referrals. So there are specific staff. In fact, that's what I used to do before I'm in the job now. We have specific staff that intake the calls. So if a parent is concerned about their child's development, they can self-refer. They can call the Central Referral Line. It's 602-635-9799. I've given that out many times. But it's also on our website and the early intervention website. And basically, you call us, we'll take the information needed, and then we'll use a system that early intervention has set up, and we send the referrals out, and it connects the families with the agencies in their area that provide services, and they do the evaluations. So yeah, we work very closely with AZIP and love that organization. But yeah, we process the referrals. We have connections with many of the organizations in the community, and really I would say they reach out to us most of the time, honestly, for that parent perspective. If they're making, stakeholders are making decisions, or organizations want to know what they're hearing from families, they'll reach out to us. A lot of our staff, including myself, we serve on different councils and committees. Really just, I feel like in the last several years, it's come to the forefront. I'm sure you can agree, Michelle, that in the disability community, families that are raising children with disabilities or individuals with disabilities themselves, they deserve a seat at the table too. For never about us without us. And so it's nice to have those connections in the community as well, as a mom and as an employee.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a really, really great point, and it has been nice to see that they do want to include more of our voices and our children's voices too, and they're making decisions for them, um,
Definitely.
which is absolutely critical. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, so I know I became a parent leader and a parent mentor, and I absolutely love it. And like you said, it's such a great way to give back to the
Mhm.
community and connect with other people. So, if people wanted to participate in that program on that level, how would they do that?
They can call us. I've had many parents call and say, "Hey, I heard about this program. I want to volunteer." And we will send your information over to our parent leader team. One of my colleagues, her job is to connect with you and schedule a training. Right now they're virtual, but we'll train the parent leaders on kind of a little bit of this, an RSK overview, and then what the expectations are to be a parent leader, and then also, what the program looks like. But we want your help. So if a family is willing to get involved, please call us. We'd love to help you. We are always looking for parents because there's, so many families needing that connection. We also are looking, I will say too, we're looking for families, parent leaders that can speak Spanish. So that
Mhm.
is something that's always a need in the community. I will tell you too, and Michelle knows this, there are opportunities besides the phone calls and the emotional connection. Often parent leaders will speak at, if we do presentations at some of the colleges, that educate students in studying special education or, speech pathology or what have you, we will come and do a presentation. And then we'll have our parent leaders, share their experience. We've done that for many school districts all over the state, as well as, Arizona State University, Grand Canyon, U of A. I mean, we really are trying to get that voice out there. And I did that when I was a parent leader, and it's super fulfilling. And I know a lot of our parent leaders love that part of volunteering as well.
Yes, I have been very blessed to have the opportunity to talk to educators about our IEP process with Jackson in particular, and it's just amazing to be able to give them that perspective, but also to tell them how much we appreciate them and all of the hard work that they do.
So
It feels
true.
like maybe they don't hear that enough, and it's really wonderful to be able to participate on that level. And so very thankful that you guys provide us with that opportunity to do that. I think that's really awesome. And I wanted to say one other thing is, you know, for parents who are out there who maybe think that they have like an off the wall question to ask raising special kids, like don't ever be afraid to call and ask them. They are the gurus. Like they know everything. I swear you guys know everything. I have called several times or I reach out to Brittany personally and I'm like, oh my gosh, this just happened. I had a friend whose daughter unfortunately ended up with a brain tumor. And I was like, oh my gosh, Brittany, I need resources for her. Brittany, in like 2 seconds, sorry to set that expectation for everybody, but Brittany, in about 2 seconds, emailed me like a 12-page list of different foundations and different charities and different resources for this family. And I was just blown away. And it was really specific to brain cancer. And so they have lists of lists for everything, I would think.
Thank you. There's a whole team of us, and I think together, if I don't know the answer, I have colleagues to reach out to, and we will figure it out. And, we get extensive training on how to support our community. And we also, are contacted by organizations all the time, say, by the way, we offer this for families and we're collecting resources. So thank you. We really try to be there. And often families just don't know where to start. So we really love it when we get a referral from maybe a social worker at the hospital or a DDD support coordinator or a doctor, because we can help that family early on. So thank you. Yeah, we really try to be there and to be that wealth of information and support for families.
Yeah, and you guys are, and it's truly incredible. And I love hearing you even talk about that because you could tell how passionate and how fulfilling it is for you to do that work. So, thank you so much for coming on today and for giving this webinar and for going really into detail about what Raising Special Kids does and how you are here to support the community. I use you as a reference all the time. I send so many people to you because, like you said, you guys help really, I mean, from diagnosis through adulthood. And I think that that's kind of rare to find an organization that covers the age span, but also covers everything, right? You're not disability specific. And in fact, like you said earlier, you're not even completely disability. If you have a special healthcare need, you guys are there too. And I think that that's very profound and amazing that there's an organization out there like that that's here for everybody.
Well, thank you for having me. I started out as a parent needing support 11 years ago. I became a volunteer a few years later, and then I work here. And I will tell you that's the journey of many of our staff members. And we're here to help. So, like you said, if there's a interesting situation that you maybe think no one can help you, call us because we might be able to help. If you need special education help, if you need help problem solving with healthcare, DDD, long-term care, whatever, we're here to help families. And yeah, give us a call.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brittany.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this today.
Thank you for joining us for the DAMES webinar series. We hope that this information helped to empower you on this lifelong journey of raising a child who has been diagnosed with a disability. At DAMES, we always want to remind you that you are never alone on this journey. You can join us and become a DAMES member if you're not already by going to www.damesusa.com.